Welcome back, everyone. It's Guillermo and Diane here. On this video, we're taking you on an unforgettable journey through the beautiful Tuscan region of Italy. We'll spend 5 days exploring historic towns like Siena, San Gimignano, and Montepulciano. We'll be sipping on incredible wines, savoring delicious Italian cuisine, and even going on a truffle hunt. This time, we're driving through Tuscany's rolling hills, appreciating breathtaking landscapes, and visiting some amazing agriturismo spots. Whether you're planning your own Tuscan getaway or just dreaming of living here, this itinerary has something for everyone. Now, let's dive into the magic of Tuscany together.
Tuscany is situated in the heart of Italy, and is known as the birthplace of the Renaissance, acclaimed for its scenic beauty, rich history, and cultural influence. The region is sprinkled with ancient towns and cities like Florence and Pisa, all rich in history and remarkable architecture. Tuscany has access to several international airports, including Florence, Pisa, and Bologna, ensuring convenient connections to destinations around the globe. We flew into Florence. We were a little more excited than the usual trip. This one was special because we were also celebrating our 20-year wedding anniversary. We actually honeymooned here in Florence back in 2004 and fell head over heels for the city. But this time, we're thrilled to venture out and explore the Tuscan countryside. If you're interested in seeing our video where we explore Florence and learn everything from public transport, cost of living, healthcare, and more, you'll find the link in the description below. When visiting Tuscany, driving is the ideal way to explore the rolling hills and discover the incredible sights along the way. We rented a car through Discovercars.com, though the rate was a bit higher this time of the year. Even though April isn't a typical peak tourist season, Florence certainly felt like it, as it was full of visitors. The car we chose was the classic Fiat 500, a tough little guy that worked the windy roads perfectly. We advise you to get a convertible. The extra euros are well worth it. Until it rains. It rained on us a couple times. Rain showers are typical in the region, keeping the landscapes lush and green. Lucky for us, they were brief and added to the region's charm. Italian roads are in tip-top condition, even when driving through small villages. But beware of one thing: speed cameras. They are everywhere and they do work. We got flagged with an €80 speeding ticket. And on top of that, we got a complimentary €50 fee from the rental company for processing the ticket. Obey the speed limits and listen to your GPS app. It tells you where the speed cameras are at.
This is the ideal route that we chose for our itinerary, down to Montepulciano, through the Val d'Orcia, and back up to San Gimignano, making trips to Pienza and Siena. Our first stop was Greve, located in the heart of the Chianti Classico region. We arrived at the Castello di Verrazzano, a historic castle that is now a winery and agriturismo site. The estate spans 230 acres, with 52 hectares of vineyards perched at altitudes between 260 and 420 meters above sea level, a truly picturesque spot. The magnificent castle dates back to the 10th century and has been home to several noble families over the years. The vineyards of Verrazzano have been making wine magic for ages. These grapes have seen it all: Etruscans, Romans, and countless harvests. The guided tour is well worth it. You get to wander through the ancient halls where so much history took place and learn a thing or two. Like the Verrazzano family, who acquired the castle in the 7th century. It was the birthplace of Giovanni de Verrazzano.
Giovanni was the navigator of the family and Girolamo was the cartographer. On the 1524, they left the port of Dieppe with the idea to go and discover the India. India and start buying and selling spices. They actually discover a big part of the world, but they never known that was the America instead of the Indias. And during this period, they discover the Bay of New York. They discover Delaware, Massachusetts, Connecticut, northern south of Carolina. So a big part, actually quite very important part today, but they never knew that there was the America. In New York, there is a bridge that connects State Island to Brooklyn that is called Verrazzano Narrow Bridge. That was in honor of Giovanni da Verrazzano.
Giovanni continued his crusades through the Caribbean, but unfortunately, in 1528, he allegedly was captured and eaten by native cannibals. Our tour included a wine tasting lunch. The wines were superb and the food delicious as well. I wasn't drinking much since I was driving, plus we were busy chatting with Carol and Bob, a lovely couple from Florida who enjoy traveling like us. We love meeting new people when we do activities around the world, and it's always a treat to meet fellow Americans. After Greve, we were headed for Montepulciano. We drove along the Chianti Gianna or SR222 scenic road, right through the heart of the Chianti wine region. Along the way and on the side of the road, there's a famous food truck that luckily for us was open. The Dario Car Panini food truck has gained a reputation for serving fresh, made-to-order sandwiches or paninis packed with high-quality ingredients. It features a grill on board to ensure the paninis are freshly made and delicious. We had to try the burger meat panini. It was the bomb, packed with a ton of flavor. Oh, look at that thing.
It smells pretty amazing.
Oh god.
And look at the view you get with it.
Wondering what the Black Rooster is about? The Black Rooster, or Gallo Nero, is an iconic symbol of the Chianti region in Tuscany. Its origin dates back to the medieval rivalry between the republics of Florence and Siena. According to legend, to resolve their territorial disputes over the Chianti area, they agreed to a contest. Riders would set out from their respective cities at the crowing of a rooster, and the point where they met would determine the boundary. Florence, wanting to ensure victory, chose a black rooster and kept it in a dark coop, starving it so that it would crow earlier than usual. When released, the black rooster crowed well before dawn, allowing the Florentine rider to cover much more ground before meeting the Sienese rider, far closer to Siena. As a result, Florence claimed a larger portion of the Chianti territory. Today, the Black Rooster symbolizes the Chianti Classico wine and is a mark of quality and authenticity. Only wines produced in this designated area and meeting strict production standards can bear the Gallo Nero seal on their bottles. This emblem is not just a nod to the region's history, but also a guarantee of the high standards of Chianti Classico wines. We arrived at our B&B. The Stelle di Monte is a very special place. You hear people say how something is so beautiful and vibrant that it looks like a postcard? Well, this is one of those places. Stelle di Monte is a romantic retreat with breathtaking vistas of Montepulciano. The owners, Natalie and Igor, have created such a beautiful oasis here. The mix of modern and historical elements in their decor makes the perfect setting to relax and enjoy nature.
Buongiorno, benvenuti.
Their selection of rooms and amenities have a simplistic yet cozy feel, with Montepulciano always as the focal point from all rooms. That evening, we had a special three-course dinner in their Etruscan wine cellar, prepared by Chef Igor himself. He's a Michelin-trained chef, and Natalie is skilled with homemade bread baking. The presentation and flavors of the dishes, paired with the ambiance of the cellar, made for an unforgettable and romantic dinner.
Day 2 began bright and early with a delicious breakfast served on the charming patio, prepared by Igor and Natalie, of course. Today was said to be a physical day, so we plan on renting bicycles to ride to a few wineries nearby. We are not in the best shape as years ago, so we made sure the bikes were electric to help us with that extra boost. As a first-time e-bike users, it was super easy and you get an amazing view of the landscape along the way. Buongiorno. We cruised right onto the first winery on our list, the Tenuta Valtipiata, a renowned winery that practices sustainable viticulture, focusing on environmentally friendly methods to maintain the health of the vineyards and the quality of their wines. It is best known for its Vino Nobile di Montepulciano, a strong and elegant red wine made primarily from the Sangiovese grape. We really enjoyed our time with Giuliano, the owner. He was fun to talk to and had a lot of great stories and information about the wine region.
Our next stop was Fattoria Madonna della Querce, where we had scheduled a lunch and tour of the Cinta Senese pig farm. We were immediately greeted by a group of chatty piggies demanding their favorite treat: chestnuts. We got to meet the parents, Gino and Fiorellina, looking plump and happy. The farm also offers a glimpse into rural Tuscan life, with opportunities to explore the olive groves and hear Roberto talk about his family and strong bond with the pigs.
They are the prosciutto, ham, prosciutto by shoulder, pancetta, bacon, capocollo neck, guanciale for make pasta carbonara, salami, raw bacon, loin, white sausage.
We tasted their locally cured meats and their non-label wines.
He said that we can drink both bottles.
Both the red and white were delicious. We enjoyed many tastings, and then it began to rain. We had to wait it out, so the owner kept bringing us more wine to taste, bottle after bottle. We're not sure how much we drank or the percent of alcohol in the wines, but we felt okay to ride the bikes. Since we had stayed longer than planned, we decided to end our wine crusade here and head back to the B&B for a little laydown before heading to Montepulciano for dinner. Cycling through the countryside is a great way to experience the beauty of Tuscany, and we're so glad we decided to do it. Three hours later, we walked up towards the ancient walls of Montepulciano for dinner. A town with an incredible history spanning over 2,500 years. Entering through its towering gates and strolling along its cobbled streets felt like a journey back in time. Our dinner reservation was at La Loge del Vignola, a charming little restaurant with delightful decor and an excellent staff. We opted for the 4-course tasting menu with wine pairing. The staff explained each course and pairing in detail, turning the meal into a delightful, nearly 3-hour culinary journey. While the flavors were good, the presentation and wine selection truly stood out, deserving 5 stars. The total came to €218, which included a Caperto charge. This small fee is standard in Italy and covers things like bread, cutlery, and table settings, not to be confused with a tip.
On day 3, we started the day heading back to the top of Montepulciano for a pleasant surprise. In case you're driving like us, there is a parking lot located at the bottom of Montepulciano that costs about €4 to leave your car. The walk up to the top is about 20 minutes, and as we wander through the narrow streets, we let history soak in with every step. It's wild to think about how many generations have walked these cobblestones before us. These walls have seen a lot. We finally arrived to the first activity of the day. The De Ricci Cantine is a wine cellar dating back to the early 16th century.
Buongiorno.
The experience of visiting De Ricci is not just about tasting exceptional wine, but also about stepping into a piece of history. Our guide, Emilio, led us deep down the steps for an extraordinary wine cellar tour. As you descend more and more into the earth, you'll discover a subterranean wonder with vaulted rooms, large wine barrels, and winding tunnels. It's literally an underground cave and cathedral. I mean, we're about 130 feet down below. How and why this cellar was built this way? No one knows, but there are several theories behind it.
So, for example, one of the main ones that we have is that at the time, and by at the time I mean 1337 when the winery was built, so they were, at the time they were thinking of wine as it was something sacred. So, more specifically, as it was the blood of Christ. So this is perhaps why sometimes noble families or people who could afford, in general, they were building their wineries with the shape of a cathedral like this one. Because these places were meant to host the blood of Christ.
The ancient feel of the cellars, with their centuries-old stonework and the scent of aging wine, really takes you back to a tradition that has been around for generations.
We tasted their stellar wines, and our favorites by far were the 2018 Ceraldo Vino de Nobile Red, the 2019 Vino Nobile White, and the Il Saavedro 2019 Merlot. We also met a lovely couple from my hometown in Mississippi, Michelle and Chris. Their children actually went to my high school in Brandon. Talk about a small world.
We're off to see San Gimignano and the 14 Towers.
We made a quick detour and stopped at the Caguzzi Cheese Farm, a family-run dairy dedicated to producing high-quality cheeses. We had reserved a picnic basket, and after selecting a few cheeses, cold cuts, and a bottle of wine, we headed down to a table and admired the serene beauty of the Val d'Orcia Valley, the most picturesque in Tuscany. Our next stop was the town of Pienza, known as the City of Cheese, particularly for its production of Pecorino di Pienza cheese. In Pienza, you're forced to slow down. If you don't, you'll walk the entire length of the town in less than 5 minutes. One peculiar fact about Pienza, which was then called Corsignano, is that it was essentially an experiment in urban planning by the town-born Pope Pius II. He wanted to redesign the entire town, aiming to blend beauty, function, and humanism. What's interesting is that despite its small size, Pienza stands as one of the earliest examples of Renaissance urban planning, demonstrating how a pope's vision turned a humble village into what we see today. We couldn't stay long because we had to attend a pasta cooking class later, so we made a note to come back here when we have more time to explore and eat a ton of cheese. As we approached San Gimignano, the excitement was building up. We read and watched so much about this beautiful hilltop town, famous for its medieval towers and stunning views. But first, we had to check in to the agriturismo where we would be staying, the lovely Guardastelle. Guardastelle has everything your heart desires. Gorgeous Tuscan views, informative wine tours with tastings, e-bike rentals, picnic baskets, and the best experience of all, a private pasta cooking class with Chef Beppe. It was as fun as saying his name. We had never made homemade pasta before. We learned quickly while sipping on wine and laughing with Chef Beppe. He was such a fun guy with that great Italian friendliness. The reward in the end was, of course, savoring the delicious flavors of everything we just cooked, in the perfect setting and with a perfect partner. Prego. We really appreciated everything the hosts Susanna, Fausto, and the staff did for us. They upgraded us to a full cabin at no charge. Such a sweet gift for our wedding anniversary. Thank you again. Guardastelle really is the perfect place to stay when you visit Tuscany.
Waking up to a full all-you-can-eat breakfast is a great start to the day. Homemade dishes, pastries, eggs any way you want it. What more could you ask for? We did a tour of the vineyards and olive oil production facilities.
So we're just taking a tour here at Guardastelle where we're staying, and these are their vineyards full of Verrazzano di San Gimignano grapevines, which are famous for being one of the white wines of Tuscany. We haven't really tried very many white wines, and this is the only area that you can get the Verrazzano di San Gimignano grape. There is Verrazzano in other areas, but only the Verrazzano di San Gimignano is here.
We finished with a wine tasting lunch. The food was great, and our favorite wine was their Passaluna, a Tuscan red, also known as Super Tuscan.
That Super Tuscan was delicious, but we were more excited to get to our next destination. We couldn't wait to get to one of the most iconic and beloved towns in Tuscany, San Gimignano. Often dubbed as the medieval Manhattan, it's another stunning hilltop town renowned for its impressive skyline of medieval towers. These towers were built by wealthy families as a display of their power and influence, and at one point there were over 70 of them. Today, 14 of these towers still stand, creating a picturesque and historically rich silhouette against the Tuscan landscape. Beyond these structures, San Gimignano is also famous for its well-preserved medieval walls and narrow cobblestone streets. The many shops sprinkled throughout the main street adds to the experience. Look out for the local museum. They have a replica of the town and what it looked like in the past with all of the towers. The heart of San Gimignano is its central square, Piazza della Cisterna, named after the ancient well that has been a focal point of the town since the 13th century. It is here where you will find a well-known gelateria.
At Gelateria Dolly, which supposedly has the best gelato in the world.
To end the day, we had a wonderful dinner at Bel Soggiorno restaurant with yet another fantastic view and some amazing food.
Day 5 was action-packed. For the first time ever, we ventured into the Tuscan woods on a hunt. But hold your horses, we were not after wildlife, we went truffle hunting. We teamed up with Francesco, Tuscany's legendary truffle whisperer, and his trusty truffle-sniffing sidekick, Sally. We spent 5 hours learning all about truffles, uncovering their secrets, hunting them down, hearing the stories, and later on indulging in a mouth-watering truffle feast at a charming local winery. Francesco was a great guy, a true expert in his field, and very funny.
My English is not good.
Oh, very good. It's very
One
good.
bottle the white wine.
Yeah.
I just speak everything.
Perfect.
China's the Russian, English.
We trailed behind Sally as she darted into the woods. She was so quick and agile, it felt like we were chasing a furry little truffle rocket. We had to keep up, though, because Sally's got a nose for truffles and a bit of a taste for them, too. Her nails were so thick and powerful, it was fun watching her in action. The breed is called Lagotto Romagnolo, known as Italy's adorable truffle dog. The bond between Francesco and Sally is absolutely heartwarming. They've been at this truffle hunting game together for almost a decade. And you can see the love and teamwork in every wag and smile.
We found almost 300 grams of black truffle and found out there's a big difference between white and black.
In Italy, all year round, different season, different truffle. The special truffle is the white, very much expensive, very good truffle because of much flour, much smell, very strong flour.
Yes.
1 kilo of the white truffle is possible 2,000 euro per kilo.
Wow.
The black truffle maximum 200 euro per kilo.
We packed our little treasures and headed to the Fattoria Poggio a Loro, Agriturismo and Farm for a delightful taste of authentic Tuscan life. The farm is set on a hill with breathtaking 360 views of glorious landscape and the San Gimignano towers. It produces a variety of organic products, including olive oil, saffron, grains, in addition to its renowned wines, and particularly their involvement in the ancient tradition of cattle breeding. The Chianina breed is one of the oldest and largest cattle breeds in the world. It's famous for producing the exquisite Florentine steak, or bistecca alla Fiorentina. Francesco gave us a quick tour of the farm and introduced us to the staff. We also met his wife Maria, who works there. She was so sweet and we felt very welcomed by everyone. By far, this was our favorite meal of the entire trip. I mean, come on, we use shavings of our own fresh truffles. That makes it even more special. And that Florentine steak, it was to die for. We learned about the Fiorini brothers who purchased the farm back in 1972 and now continues to be run by their children. We actually met the daughter's husband, who funny enough happens to be from good old San Antonio, Texas.
To end this wonderful day, we drove to the medieval town of Siena. Protected by defensive walls like all the old cities. Driving through its main gate takes you back to the 14th century. We quickly found a parking lot on the first right after entering through the gate. You don't need to be driving through these narrow streets, and walking really takes you back through time.
Siena is known for its well-preserved medieval architecture and history going back centuries. The main square, Piazza del Campo, is considered one of Europe's greatest medieval squares and is surrounded by stunning structures, including the Palazzo Pubblico and the Torre del Mangia. The square has the shape of a shell, and twice a year it becomes a racetrack for the famous horse race called Palio. This isn't just any horse race. It's a fiercely competitive event among Siena's neighborhoods. It's been called the wildest horse race in the world. Too bad we weren't there during that time.
The Siena Duomo is one of my favorites of all time, and one of Italy's most impressive churches. It is a black and white striped marble cathedral, a design that gives the building a unique and visually captivating appearance.
To enter, you need to purchase a ticket at the office located on the left side of the Duomo, or use the QR code on the screen to skip the ticket line.
Inside, the cathedral's floor is a masterpiece in itself, featuring intricate marble mosaics that depict various religious scenes. These mosaics were created by over 40 artists between the 14th and 16th centuries. The inside columns are about 13 meters tall and made from alternating bands of black and white marble, which are the symbolic colors of Siena. They create a striking visual effect throughout the cathedral's interior. But here is the one section that blew our minds. There is a library inside the cathedral, the Biblioteca Piccolomini. Its walls and ceiling are adorned with vibrant frescoes by Pinturicchio. The vivid colors and intricate details of his work have been very well preserved, offering a glimpse into the artistic brilliance of the Renaissance. You will be in awe if you see this church in person. She sure was. Siena as a whole is a mix of history, culture, and tradition, making it a must-visit destination when in Tuscany. And that wraps up our incredible 5-day journey through the heart of Tuscany. We've created a free guide that you can download with a QR code on the screen or a link in the description. We hope you enjoyed exploring this beautiful region with us, from its historic towns to its stunning landscapes, and of course, tasting all the delicious food and wine. Tuscany has truly captured our hearts, and we hope it's inspired you to visit. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you didn't, then click that dislike button twice. Thank you for watching.